Okay. Si me escuchan, si pueden señalar con un thumbs up, por favor. Sí, excelente. Eric, can you do a favor and get me some ice that I looked at these on? Okay. Here's my two glasses. Buenas tardes a todos.
Buenas tardes.
Ok. Jessica, necesito que I need ice in both of these. Necesito que elijas unas de estas preguntas para responder. No lo puedes tocar.
Oh, saludos a Jessica.
Mágicas.
Sí, del folleto.
Es que ya no la escuchan, acuérdese.
La última.
Okay.
Vamos a hacer la última. En el caso número 1, ¿qué mercado la compañía Lancaster Realty Associates, o sea, cuál era el target de esa compañía? Luxury, exacto. Ok. Excelente. Excelente. ¿Sí me escuchan bien, Gina? Ok, excelente. Ok, muy bien. ¿Y quién más está ahí? Jai, okay, we're going to do this in English. All right. Okay, so, Jai, I know you hear us. I need all of us that are online to have your cameras on so that I know that you're there. And I need you to understand that the microphone is plugged in. And as long as our microphone is plugged in, we cannot hear you. So we haven't figured a way to get that figured out. So we just want you to know that, okay? You can put some comments in the little comment section, and then I'll see if I can get Eric to read those out if you have any questions or you want to comment on something. Jai, Julie, and Gina, you all received a Google document, okay? And I sent you a link. So you can go into your computer and you can take notes from this. All right, so. Okay. Did everybody get a chance did you get a chance to complete your list of things that, okay. So, let's start with the first section here, okay? All right, William, you have that? Okay, everybody has their pamphlet, right? Okay. So let's talk about that. And this is so that y'all can fill it out and put in your information, okay? And for you to put in information based on, you have your list already, but if there's other things. Hey guys, how you doing? Good. Oh, thanks for coming. No problem. Right. Good. How are you? Good. Nice to see you. You too. You can sit next to me. Oh, Deborah, hi. This is, William.
Yeah. How are you?
Good. And you haven't met Jessica?
I have not.
Jessica, hi. This is Deborah. And Laura.
I know Laura.
Yes, you met before. Okay. On the screen is my Aunt Julie on the top left-hand corner.
Hi, Julie.
And they can't talk because our microphone is plugged in.
Oh, hi, Julie.
No, you can talk, but you can't hear them. And then Gina's on the top, and then Jai's on the bottom.
Okay.
Left.
Fun.
Okay. So thanks for coming.
No problem.
Okay. We're gonna be talking real estate. And this is a workshop. So this is interactive. Okay. This is interactive, and you're not just waiting for me to talk. We have to talk to each other about this, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with this, okay? So the main thing I want y'all to understand is that you guys have the power of designing the role that you're going to be in as working as a listing agent.
Hey.
And you need to, the door's locked?
Huh?
The door's locked? Downstairs?
I have no idea.
Okay. Anyways, so you need to start thinking, and some of you may have already experienced having a transaction. Some of you may not have had transactions yet, but just try to visualize if you were in the role of a listing agent, somebody that you're about to list someone's house. What are the characteristics that you like and you dislike about somebody else that you worked with? Okay, because that's the experience that most of us start at, is working as a buyer's agent, and then we're collaborating with another agent on the other side. So, let's talk about that. What are the things that you have liked whenever you're working with a transaction, in a transaction? What are the things that you have liked about another agent, how they handled the listing of a property? So let's discuss.
I would say the first thing is communication. When they have open communication and also fast, like when they respond fast to your question, or when you send a note. When you send an offer and the listed agent is responding or acknowledge that they received the offer or the question, and just responding fast.
Okay. Quick response. Quick response. Because there's communication and then there's quick response. What else?
So for me, they share all information about the property and community.
Okay. Like you mean like exhibits and stuff?
No, like rent restrictions,
Knowledge of the market, knowledge of-
yeah,
Okay.
the HOA, all about HOA.
It's
What are they? ¿Qué incluye?
what it includes.
Mhm.
What it includes. Yeah. It's interesting that you would say that, because in the community association disclosure, which is the form that we use so that the seller can communicate the information about the community, the HOA, some of that information is not on there.
Mhm.
Okay. So, we don't have to limit ourselves to what's on that community association disclosure. I've recently started using an additional page and getting information from the seller, or now I've learned something even from last night, is going to the covenants of the HOA, and or if the seller is willing to let you have access to their logon ID and password for the HOA, and then you can find information in there. And I found a whole bunch of stuff. I found out there were rental restrictions. I found out that the HOA included the cutting of the grass in the front of the community, like in the front of the house. So you can find out a lot of information that way. So yeah, getting as much information, if you're listing, getting as much information to the buyers, and the more information that you can give the buyers, the less they waste your time. What else? What else do y'all?
When they reject your offer, that they will let you know.
Information. Okay. And what do you mean? Like, okay.
They have that courtesy to say,
Oh,
your offer was not accepted. So that
Okay.
way, I think that's nice.
yeah. Letting all the parties know.
Okay, so they review the contract and share the contract with all signs and initials correctly. Like,
The knowledge of the contract and
Ajá. pero que les envíen con las firmas y las
review
iniciales.
the
Porque,
correct contract.
Oh, okay. To double check your work, make sure that everything is completed properly and signed. Right?
and
And executed.
executed.
Right. Okay.
Porque hay algunos que ni revisan ni envían ejecutado.
She said that some people, they don't even check it and don't even execute the contract.
Right.
Mhm. And, I think it's also important that, because you said that, I think it's also important to really understand at what point it's okay to execute the contract. Because sometimes you're like, why are you sending me this and not execute it? Okay, it's better for me, but really the last person to receive the contract without making any changes at all. Signing is not included in that. If all your clients did and you did was sign the contract and didn't make any changes, then go ahead and execute the contract.
Yeah, the last transaction, my last transaction, she executed the contract and missed initial.
Yeah. Yeah. And is the collaboration, is communicating with each other. I don't know why there's a lot of listing agents that, we can bleep this out, but are assholes. Okay. For no reason. They just behave badly. Okay. They just, you're putting in your offer and they just very cocky. Okay. You don't have to be that way. You can be kind. That does not mean weakness. Okay. So be kind. Okay. Anything else that's on your list of things that you like?
Oh, I think that is nice, and it's happening when I work with allocation. When at the end of the transaction, they ask for your feedback. So as a listing agent, it's good to ask for feedback about, in general, how the transaction went, and also, do you think I did a good work? Would you give any suggestion of that? So take feedback is good.
So another thing is when they accept the offer, share the person with like transaction coordinator or whatever person they need to copy in the emails, all emails.
To what do you mean? Like to let you know that there is going to be a transaction coordinator involved?
Cuando estamos en una transacción,
Uh-huh.
que nos digan desde un principio quiénes tienen que estar copiados en el correo, porque pasan 10 emails y entonces toca que volver a enviar.
Yeah. So from the beginning of the transaction, it's nice whenever they have a transaction coordinator to let all the parties understand that a transaction coordinator is involved, because otherwise it creates extra work.
Yeah, that's part of the open communication.
Yeah.
It's good to have as an assistant.
Informing if transaction. Okay. Coordinator. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the things you do not like. The things that get on your nerves about.
Lack of communication, when they ignore your calls or respond
Right,
to your
ignore.
text.
Oh, yeah.
They just ignore your calls. Basically, they respond with a text message like 2 days or like late in the day or hours and hours, and you are just waiting. So I think communication, lack of communication.
You know where I see that a lot is whenever they have the house listed and you're calling because there's something that you need an answer to.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if you are representing a seller, you better answer the freaking phone. Answer the phone. That's what they hired you for. They hired you to represent them and get the house sold. If somebody's calling and you're not answering the phone because, I don't recognize the number, I don't know, I don't want to answer. Then you know what? Then you know what? Maybe you really shouldn't be doing this. Okay. And if you want your phone to ring less, okay, from agents, provide all the information up front to those agents. The beginning part of that of the transaction of getting the house listed, in my opinion, that's the hardest part, because you have to make sure you gather all this information. It's like information gathering.
Like another thing, like lack of communication and lack of complete information and listings. Like if it's in the MLS or whatever, I mean, there's no information. That's why we call it, because we're missing this and that, and it's not clear. So those agents that don't list the complete information, I don't like that.
Right. Yeah, that is aggravating. And then when you're ready to put in the offer, what's going to happen? You still have to call them. You still have to ask them, hey, can you send me the seller's disclosure?
The legal description, never have the legal description.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of the legal description, if the seller doesn't have the legal description, where can you get it? Not you, Daniela, If the seller does not cannot find the legal description, cannot find the deed, to the property, where can you go to get the deed?
To the, what's the name of the database, whatever, I don't remember how to say it.
Do you know? If
I know.
your seller, I know you know. If your seller cannot find the legal description, the deed to the property that shows the legal description,
Jules law,
there you go.
Mhm.
Very good. Okay.
called Jules.
Yeah, just call Jules. Yeah. So, yeah, the closing attorneys, you can just ask them, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you please send me a copy of the deed? And you probably need to give them the name, the address.
Yes, the
That's it.
name, the address, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. And then you can get that way. Anything else that you dislike?
When they,
When they're rude.
cuando entregan la casa,
When they're rude. Yes.
cuando entregan la casa y no está en perfectas condiciones como
Okay.
debían.
When they turn over the property and it's dirty, it smells bad, you know,
O no hacen los topchados de la pared de la pintura.
okay.
Yeah, repairs.
Yeah, repairs.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But,
Pero no,
but you can put a stipulation saying that you want the house to be clean after closing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you can do that. You can do that. Okay. But these are things that you want to talk to your sellers about. Okay. You want your sellers to put their best foot forward. You can't be the only one putting your best foot forward. Okay. And that's where, Deborah's going to come in a minute, a little while, and she's going to talk about that because my pre-Deborah days, I used to like cringe because it's like you would walk and PB, pre-Deborah.
Pre-debs.
okay.
Okay. I would walk into these houses and it was crazy. I remember one time I walked into a house and the fireplace was what's that stone called? The stone the stones that are like flagstone. You're sitting down, right? Okay. Each flagstone was a different color.
Oh my God.
Okay. It was red, it was green. They were all primary colors.
Yeah, they are
creative.
artists.
Okay. But you were sitting down, so you're good, right? But I went into that, and then I'm like, how do I tell them that that's ugly?
Yeah.
And a lot of times there's a lot of ugly houses out there. Okay. I wish Gina was here to I know she's here, but I wish that she could like speak. I know she can't, but I have a client that has a house that the husband, he works in like, there's detexturizing the ceilings.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And he's really good at that. Okay. He works in construction. He's really good at that, but he needs to just stay in that lane. Like that's all he should do. Okay. Because in his house, he took a wall like this one here and decided, you know what, let me do some cutouts.
Oh, that house.
Okay. Let me do some cutouts. Let me cut out a heart. I don't know. It was all kinds of figures. Okay. I was just like, what? So that it could open up into the other room.
Triangles and diamonds.
Triangles and diamonds. Deborah remembers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
And then, Deborah met with William and then he stopped doing that.
People like glass or something?
No, it was just
cutouts.
it was
Like
cutouts.
what you'd see in a commercial property or something where you could see through.
Oh,
And so like you walked in the door and the wall, they just put these cutouts and then they turned their living room into a dining room and the floors were all different directions and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. And the first time
The floor in the floor?
Yeah.
the first
Some
time I
places
walked
this
in
way, this
there,
way.
I walked in with a client. Okay. And the client, I mean, she wanted to see the house, and my client, the client that I had, helped them, Eric helped them to buy the house. We went in, and my client said to me, the one that was shopping, she's like, after we left, she said, Shoshana, if we're playing poker, you should not be playing poker because you do not have a good poker face. Okay. I was really in shock. Like it was really bad. Okay. But it's important for us to communicate properly with our clients so that, respectfully. Okay. And Deborah's really good at that. Okay. So I kind of like, okay, so here's Deborah, right? And she'll talk to you about, but the main thing I think that Deborah's really helped me with is helping my clients understand that I'm here to help them get their house sold. And I tell them clearly, I'm like, you know what? I am not a designer. I'm not a designer, decorator. I can see something and know that it's nice. I'm not that one that knows how to make it look nice. I have proven that. I've tried, okay? But I know my strengths. Now, give me a good product and I will sell the hell out of it. I am great at selling houses, okay? So I just make sure that I communicate that to the seller. And I also communicate to the seller that, Deborah is a tool that helps you as a seller to prepare your house as beautifully as possible, ready for the photos. Okay. So, anyways, let's go back here. So let's talk about the things that you feel like you want to put into your job description. Like, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you feel as a listing agent that you want to do? What do you feel like you want to do?
The first thing is put all exhibit in the listing.
Okay. All right.
For
Good.
me, it's
Get the best price and the best condition to my customer.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
More benefits
Benefits for
for my customer.
Okay.
I want a happy customer,
okay.
client.
Okay. And how do you think you'll make them happy?
First tip, be honest from
Honest,
the beginning,
Okay.
and then do the right job.
Okay. All right. Be honest. Okay. You, Jessica.
I think the price,
Uh-huh. The price.
and
Mhm.
also tell them what. Of course, we have to tell the client that we have Deborah,
Mhm.
our designer,
Yeah.
and if you want to get the max, ¿cómo se? Como
Ganancia?
Ganancia.
Winning or your the highest profit. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
If you want to get highest profit,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to let us guide us
Uh-huh.
with Deborah.
Uh-huh.
And I think that maybe you have to invest a little bit,
Right.
but you will get the return
Right.
when you sell it.
Right.
Can I?
Yes.
You are correct. For me, it would be being organized and detailed and knowing the area and knowing the properties. Because then when you're talking about that, you're educating them on what you know about their property and around there and why I could be a benefit to your sale or to their investment. A lot of detail.
And I just wanted to mention that, okay, I'm a little, I have a question,
Mhm.
because like you said, market, but you remember, Shoshana, that I was telling you that I will have a listing soon,
Yes.
probably, but that's in Lithuania,
Mhm.
So I'm like, is it worth it for you to come out and see the house and design or something because of the location? So that's what I'm a little confused.
Yeah, it's good to do some studying of the market in the area. And typically, whenever I start talking to a potential seller, I'm asking that seller for some things, and we'll go over what are the things that I talk to a seller about. But I typically ask the seller, hey, is it possible that you can take some pictures for me of the house, inside, outside? I need you to step as far back as possible and take a picture of the kitchen, because I need to see the details. I need to see the cabinets. I need to see the countertops. I need to see the floors. I need to see what color it is and everything. Why do I need to see that? Because if it looks like it needs a Deborah touch, Deborah's going to be like, bing, 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 bing. Oh, it's Shoshana again. Okay. And she receives all these photos, and she knows we're going to have a conversation about this, and, that's how I start bringing her into the transaction, because there's some houses that are like, they already know. And it's like, it's not every case needs a Deborah touch, but a lot of them do. So your market analysis, ask the seller to send you pictures, shoot them Deborah's way. Okay. Deborah's going to start like getting her creative juices flowing. Okay. And then you start letting the client know the process of how everything flows and what's the benefit, and let him know, we have a designer that helps our team, and she helps your house to look the best it can look in preparation for the photographs. There is a cost. There's a special cost for these services, okay? And Deborah has a special price exclusively for our clients, okay? And then we'll talk about that in more detail. Okay, anything else that you feel that you want to incorporate in your, as far as you being a listing agent, something that you feel that whenever I have a listing, these are the things that I'm gonna do?
I think you have to show them a plan of what you're gonna do to sell that house fast, where you're gonna be listing that property, so it can be viewed for as many people as possible. And yeah, you have to show them what's your plan to do all that, get the best money, the max amount, and fast.
Exactly. You said a lot of the things that I always cover with them, okay? For me, whenever, like, as far as listing a home, I took the time to do the analysis and say, okay, what don't I like of what other people do? What I do like, what am I going to take from the things that I like from them, what I'm going to make sure I don't do, okay? And it's pretty much these things that you've mentioned, okay? But when I'm working with a seller, I am thinking like a seller. You have to get in, you have to put on the seller hat and think like a seller, okay? A seller wants top dollar. It's like what William was saying. You want to get him the right price. Another thing that a seller wants, they want to know that you know what you're talking about. And they want to know that you're going to simplify it down to the point that they're able to understand it, okay? There's, in my opinion, we have MLSs, and we have in the MLS, the CMA that will make graphs and all this stuff for you. But if you put that in, like, when I look at that, I'm like, what does this mean? What does this even mean? How am I supposed to explain this? I don't know, okay? I need to make it easy for me to understand so that whenever I am communicating it to the seller, they can see, oh, I understand now why you think that this should be priced this way. Okay. And that's the reason why I do market analysis the way that I do. You don't have to do it my way. I'll show you how I do it, and you can learn how to do it, but you have the option of using the tools that you have. Okay. I just use mine because for me, it's an easy way to explain. Okay, so your property is up here. Here's what the tax record said as far as how many square feet you have, okay? And in this section up here, these are the homes that are currently under contract in the yellow. In the green, these are all the properties that have sold. And in the pink section at the bottom, these are the ones that are active. That's your competition. Okay. And then I go through this, explaining to them what's the most important. And the most important section is the green part, because that's what the appraiser's looking at. So I make it simple that way. And I explain, okay, so you see you have this number of square feet. And as you notice in this table, we are showing the square footage of each of these properties. Okay. And there's a calculation in here that's showing price per square foot for each of those properties. Our spreadsheet is set up in a way where once you put in the square footage in there, okay, and you plug in all those comps with the square footage and so forth, it's going to automatically do the calculation, multiplying your subject property square footage times the price per square foot, and is going to give you a number on, okay, to kind of help you gauge approximately maybe how much that house could potentially sell for. But sometimes you can't use that number because it's so off. It's so off.
Like you mean
It could
off
be
low?
it could be too high. It could be too low. Okay. But you have to look at it. Usually it's too high. Okay. Usually when it's off, it's because it's too high. It's like, you multiply, you do the multiplication, and then it shows up that a house that should be able to sell for like 600,000, it's coming up at 800,000. But you know that it's not right because you look at the homes that have sold in that subdivision, and if they're selling for 600,000, it's off. It's not going to sell for that amount. So you have to gauge and see based on what in that subdivision, what's appropriate. And also figure out what has that seller done to the property to merit a higher price. And for me, that's like the big thing. It's really understanding the details of the house so that you could be able to do that. Okay. So that's something. So when I go to a listing, I'm always making sure that I first start out by talking about the value that I'm bringing to the table. Okay. We want to talk about what have you done to the house recently? When did you do these things? There's some key things we want to know. We want to know about the roof. We want to know about the hot water heater. We want to know about the HVAC. We want to know if they have any problems with electrical stuff. How's the plumbing? Basic things like that. And, that's one. Then, we document that information. We want to do the market analysis to get an idea about how much to potentially sell the house for. We want to, once you have that number, you can plug in that number that you're thinking, I think this could probably sell for this amount. Let me go ahead and plug that into my net to seller calculator online. Okay. So you have what to show them. Because in that net to seller, if some of y'all took the, I don't know if the people that took the class in Florida or in New Jersey, if they were able to do that net to seller sheet. Did you do that? Did you have to fill out the net to seller sheet to calculate how much you did in your class?
No.
Okay. Here in Georgia, whenever you take the class here, they make you fill out the net to seller sheet. Okay. And that's how we got that, because I took that spreadsheet or that form and I created the formulas and everything. And that's how we have that. Okay. But I show them that because the seller wants to see what the market looks like about how much they're going to make. Okay. And the sellers usually know in their minds about how much. They're like, well, the neighbor sold for this amount. I want to make, as much money as neighbors. Okay. But just because the neighbor sold for top dollar doesn't mean that your house that you didn't do anything to sell for top dollar. So that's where, again, Deborah comes in. Okay, net to seller, the market analysis, net to seller. Okay. And we talk about, what's going on in the market, all that. Okay. So then the seller's like, okay, good, good, good. What is the next thing the seller wants to know? What are you bringing to the table? Okay. Because, a real estate agent is a real estate agent is a real estate agent. But is that true? No, it's not. Okay. You have to show the value that you're bringing to the table. Okay. So this is where you start talking about what is it that you're going to do for that seller. Okay. What is it that y'all know that I do that a lot of agents don't bother to do?
Reverse prospect list.
The reverse prospect list. Most of the time, agents that have listings, what they do is they get the reverse prospect list and just grab it, and then they just put in the email into some system so that they could send an email to everybody on the listing and keep it going. Okay. But I get the email from that agent and I'm like, what is this? I'm throwing it in the trash. I have so much email in my inbox. I don't have time to read to see if
I get unsolicited emails. I hate them.
Okay.
I don't even if it looks like you want $1 million. No,
But
it's right in the trash.
the reverse prospecting for me has been truly successful. Okay, because I get the list, I print it out, I sort it by agent's name, I cross out the duplicates, okay, and I start calling them. I'm like, hey Jessica, this is Soshana with Beautiful Georgia Homes. How you doing?
Good.
Hey Jessica, do you still happen to have a client looking for a home in Marietta? I have a townhouse that's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath with a basement. Do you still have someone looking in that area?
Yes.
Hey, Jessica, do you mind if I were to send you a link that has everything? It has larger photos than in the MLS. It has a link to the MLS and FMLS so that you can get the MLS number quickly, get the price. It has the schools. It has the list of the most recent updates to the house. Would you mind if I send you that link?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. And by the way, Jessica, on Sunday, we're going to be having an open house. And I just wanted to share that with you in case, you might want to, come out, or if you want, I welcome you to schedule a showing for your client.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you so much for your time. I'll send you that link shortly. Okay. All right. Okay. So that conversation has been super successful for me in helping attract people to my open house.
Even when they say they don't have it anymore, like maybe they had one in the area, but now they don't. They still accept
The text
the text or the link.
and the link, they can share it. You can ask them, hey, you're welcome to share the link with your clients so they could take a look at it and see if they're interested.
I've never had anybody do that ever.
Yeah.
Even if the client's not looking anymore, they still
No, they say that.
they say yes always.
Yeah. So
And most of the time they can't believe you're calling.
yeah.
You're calling me?
Yeah. And they're like, oh my goodness, because that one client, kind of got discouraged and couldn't find anything. So I'm glad to know that that's available now. Okay. All right. So I do the reverse prospecting, and I do that. I let my seller know that the very first Sunday of the listing, I'm going to be having an open house. I always have my open houses from 2 to 4 on Sundays. Why do I do that? Because I bought signs and it says 2 to 4 on Sunday. And that's why I
So it
do
never
it.
changes.
Okay. Because I used
Shauna
to,
doesn't want to buy the sign. That's why.
I don't want to buy any more signs. Okay. I ended up having to buy some Saturday signs for some reason. I don't remember why, but anyways. But I used to have the signs and I used to use dry eraser markers, and my signs started looking really ugly and I didn't like that, So anyway, so Shauna does her open houses Sunday, the first Sunday that she has the house listed from 2 to 4. Okay. I typically list the house on a Wednesday or Thursday. My reasoning behind that is because that's when, if buyers are going to be looking at houses, that's when they start looking. They're like, oh, okay, this weekend we want to go look at houses. So when are they going to start? Wednesday or Thursday? They start putting it into the list. So, you know, that's when I typically start. The photographer, I let them know, that's the way I have this set up usually is that I have the client pay for Deborah's services. Okay. And then I let them know that the photographer, I'll cover that. Okay. There's different ways you can do that. Okay. You can like have them pay for everything. Okay. Have them pay for the designer, have them pay for the photographer. You can say, you know, I'm going to do something special for you. I'm going to, you know, you pay for the services, both services up front. And I will say, I will credit you up to this amount for photos, up to this amount for Deborah's design services. Okay. Or you can say, you know, you could just do it however you feel is most comfortable for you. Just remember, like, document it in the listing agreement, okay, how you're going to do that, so that if you forget, you can be like, oh, let me check and see what I agreed to do. Questions on that? Okay. I let the seller know that for me, my priority is to get their house sold as fast as possible for the highest amount possible. Okay. And it requires their collaboration. I need them to collaborate with this. I need them to provide me with a great house to sell. Okay. Because if I have a great house to sell, I will sell the hell out of it. Okay. All right.
And how do we know when it's a great house?
This one?
How do we know when it's a great house?
You'll know when you walk in.
So how Deborah
how it
will,
presents itself.
yeah, how Deborah will tell, oh, what is the mainly things you look into the house? Like, how will you approach to the seller? Will you be like, oh, you need to paint the walls? What's the best color? Do you have any secrets, maybe?
I think that secrets, no secrets. I think that when you go into a house and you see things that are dated, like if you see a dated kitchen, you see the sculpt framing above a sink, you see old cabinets, old floors that are maybe tattered, torn, paint colors that are out of the norm, big cutouts in the walls, or walls that are separating spaces that don't make sense. You can typically tell when you walk into a home that's going to need some care.
Yeah.
Even walking up to the house, you can tell on the outside, oh, maybe this needs fresh paint. It needs some different things brought to it to make the curb appeal. There's a lot of things that I do when I come in, whether it's paint color, helping them. Maybe you walk into a house that's completely packed with product items, boxes. Somebody may have I'm going to call it a hoarder behavior, or maybe things have just gotten away from them because of life, and people start spinning. They don't emotionally know how to separate things. So if you walk into a home and you see a lot of boxes or just stuff, we may need Deborah, because I can come in and help them. How are we going to separate these things, and where is the priority going to be? And once we remove those things, and I can see behind the scenes when that's cleared out, what are some things that we can do to this house? First of all, we want to find out, do they have a budget? Are they willing to invest into their investment?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where you're going to be able to help them get the best benefit from their investment. And so if they're willing and they have a budget, let's say you're in a house and it's got a lot that needs to be done, but maybe the person in the house knows people, or they have a skill, things like that. We can work differently with a smaller budget because they'll be doing a lot of the labor themselves.
Or have husband.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when I go in, I'm not only just looking at the house, I'm looking at the exterior, I'm looking at the neighborhood. I'm looking at, is this an area that's trending, that is coming back? You know, so I don't look at just trends in the design either. A lot of people think of trends and then they think, oh, well, this is a trend right now, but it doesn't go with the house at all. So it's confusing on trends. So if I'm saying things to go into a house and things to do, it's because I'm planning on what goes with the house. What is the buyer? What kind of buyer is going to come into the neighborhood? You know, is it young? Is it professional? Is it an older neighborhood with older or families? There's a lot of different things playing into this. So when we go in, when you're looking, if you see a dated bathroom or you see an overwhelming amount of stuff, you see a yard that's not cared for or an exterior, those are all things that can trigger to say, you know, this is a great property. And we have a designer on our team who's partnered with us. She's got 25 years experience. She has partnered and given us a rate that is way below, and it truly is way below what a designer would charge. And she can come in and we can go over things and she can prioritize a list, which I do, and I do a list for them. And I put together color boards and she'll show you some of these things. So it shows them, I don't just say, oh, do this. I take it a step further and I'll literally find examples of what this room could look like with the product. Where can you get this product? If they don't use it, that's their choice. But typically I find product that is very cost effective and that you can get online or locally at a lesser expense. And so with doing that, it can give them the vision. They can pick what rooms they want to do. But truly the most important rooms are going to be your kitchen, your bathrooms, the floors. We want things to be clear and open. And it's only going to help you sell their house and it'll help them maximize their investment and what their return is going to be. And so I take all those things into account. You know, and I've worked with you on, you did the condo, you know, I know that when I was looking at it, I'm like, this is an older community, but it's contemporary. It needs some pizzazz to get somebody to, because it was missing some other things, but we could maximize some other spaces. And so those are the things I look at and do on the boards. So answer to your question, those are the things that you can do. And just like when you're walking up, go, would I look at this and go, oh my God, this is fantastic?
Yeah.
If you don't feel like that, your emotional level is like overwhelming, not thinking, oh, there's a lot of older stuff in here. This could do some work. Those are triggers.
Yeah.
And you can really help the customer.
You
your
also
client.
tell the client how much will be the cost of repair or not really?
You can't really tell the cost to repair. And I say that because it all depends on the contractor. It all depends on the materials, you know, what's the length of time, what's the area. There's a lot of different things. And in this day and time, the contractors are picking, you know, what jobs they're going to do first. So I can't really put a dollar amount on it. I can give an estimate. You know, like we had a big house in Stone Mountain and it needed a lot of work. So on the low end, it was like $50,000 or $60,000 to make it all what needed to be done. But again, the customer can pick and choose from the list. We don't want to make them feel bad.
Right.
My thing is that when we have a client and we're talking about this and you think of yourself in your own home, we want to make them feel good about what they had and what they're passing on to someone else. We want their emotional level to be of pride. We want them to be proud of their home and of working with you and what you're doing for them. And you can take pride in what you're doing for them. So that's the whole purpose, is to really help somebody get a good return on investment financially and emotionally. It's very important. That will always get you return business because it's so respectful. And that's my priority for when I'm working with you guys, is to be respectful to you, to the client, and respectful of the list of things and suggestions, and make sure that it's not overwhelming
Pero
for
él
them
sí
or
tiene
that
una
it's
reunión
again, cost-effective
de
manner.
trabajo.
To know
Todos están
when I'm
unidos en la
to
oficina,
them,
pero
I'll
yo dije,
you know, what needs to be done and why, you know, or things that I'm seeing, not in a disrespectful manner at all, but everybody knows if their house is updated or not. People can afford to do it in many cases, but we can help them to do the priority. It's going to be the best thing to sell.
With the HVAC and it's not updated, you recommend to replace it?
You know, one of the things that you can do, you can talk to and communicate with the inspectors that we have, okay? And find out how much they charge to do a pre-existing inspection. That's something that's worth doing, because if you could do a pre-existing inspection, the inspector can come in there, give it recommendations, the seller can go address those things, and then, you know, see if the inspector will come back. Like, how much does it cost to go do the pre-inspection and come back and do a new inspection? Question?
So I learned something when I sell my house.
Yeah.
So I had the house under contract the first time, and they give me some repairs after their inspection. And then they cancel the contract, and then I have another offer, another contract. They request totally different things. Like nothing important like the first contract, you know? So I say, for me, I learned that it's better that you give some money to repairs or whatever they feel is important for them. Because every family is different.
Right.
Maybe you say, oh, for me the HVAC is important, but another say, no, for me the heater.
Right.
Something like that. Another say the roof.
Right.
I change the roof, and the people, it doesn't matter for the roof. The second contract, the second offer. So
Everybody has different.
Yes,
yeah.
and it's not only
I
the family who is buying, it's the inspector too. Because sometimes the family follow the suggestions from inspector.
Yeah. There are some things that really, like,
I just want to understand more. Tú estás diciendo que es mejor por dinero.
Cuando nosotros vendimos la primera casa,
when she sold the first house,
teníamos bajo contrato una familia.
we had another contract with them.
Ellos nos pidieron unas reparaciones.
They asked us for some repairs.
Algunas reparaciones.
Minimal things. Because the house was in really good conditions.
Luego las segundas personas que estuvieron bajo contrato, que fueron los que compraron, ellos ni siquiera les importaba eso.
Pero ya lo habían hecho.
No habíamos hecho esas cosas, las hicimos después de que las hicimos por buena gente, pero no porque ellos lo hubiesen pedido, las hicimos porque los pidieron los primeros. Porque
pero los primeros lo hicieron, ustedes lo atendieron, y los segundos,
nosotros lo atendimos después de que ya habían pasado los días de diligencia de los segundos.
Okay, so
¿Sí me entiendes? O sea, lo hicimos porque lo quisimos hacer.
So what Daniela is saying is that what's important to one group of buyers is not necessarily the same. What's important to another group of buyers. But I could tell you something. I know that things that are most important to buyers, they love to hear new roof. They love to hear new HVAC system. Okay.
But they're always gonna ask for something, right?
Yeah.
Buyers.
Not necessarily. Okay, because if you have a lot of competition, they're like roof, hot water heater, HVAC. Those are the main components that are going to make this house function, and the hot water heater. you know, those are the main things. And they're like, okay, this is great. I'm not going to have to invest in those high ticket items for a long, long time. You know? So if, you know, I speak to my clients about that and I let them know that that's what most people are looking for, you know, and then some people are like, you know, they don't want to spend the money or whatever. So then they opt for the home warranty. The home warranty is important for everybody to understand. We had the class the other day where he talked about it. You know, most warranties are not going to pay for the full price of the HVAC system. It's just not. It's going to help subsidize that purchase. Okay. Which is better than, you know, having to pay full price for it, you know, but, yeah. So, yeah, we just need to, like, whenever we're with our clients, help them see the benefit, because even we've had investors that needed to renovate the house. Okay. And I've had investors that they're like, oh, you know, I don't need a designer. Yeah, you do. Okay. They go and they're like, well, you know, I work in construction, so I know what to do. And then they're like, okay, the house is ready. Come over and see it. I've got some nightmares. But anyways, and then I go to the house and it looks like the house was built in the 90s. I'm like, who chose these cabinets? Who chose these cabinets?
It could be as simple. We had one investor that was selling a condo, and this particular investor, he believed that he knew more than anybody, hands down. And it didn't matter. You could have 4 degrees in something and he was going to know more. And he really didn't need a designer. He didn't want to hear. So we went back, the kitchen cabinets were painted in a very high gloss paint. What are you doing? In his mind, that was the best thing, because he thought that was durable. It was easy. It was kind of like a landlord thing to do, but it wasn't a seller thing to do. And so he ended up stripping them and putting a different finish on them because they just weren't pleasing for somebody to come in and purchase this condo. We've had investors that they didn't want to change the colors or clean the tiles or invest in putting a new tile in a shower, different things. And they didn't benefit from their choice. So we have a lot of investors that we've had some things where they're like, nah, I'm good. We know what we're doing.
She's
And what
helped
is this-
shortcuts.
What is this thing called? Like
What? The
Baseboard.
baseboard?
Baseboard?
The baseboard?
Baseboard.
baseboard.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you're talking about?
The baseboard?
We
Yeah.
call it a baseboard because it's at the base of the wall
Mhm.
and at the floor level.
Baseboard.
Mhm.
Think of base.
Deborah's been able to help investors save money. Okay. What I mean by that is that a lot of these investors that think that they know what to select, what selections to make, they do not know what selections to make. And she's helped, like, she puts together a no, what is it called?
It's a vision
A
board.
vision
color
board, a color board,
Mhm.
so that, you know, the person can say, you know what, I want to go with, you know, this is the look and feel that I like, and present it to Deborah, and Deborah can give them options of colors and materials, and, you know, how to make that, how to create that environment for them. Okay. And save them money, because if you make a mistake, you may have to undo that mistake and redo it properly.
It's another Jules. He was selling a house and we were doing it, and his contractor, and contractors can do this. They see different things. They try to keep up with trends, but they want to use that trend in every single house. And this in particular, this house in particular, the contractor was like, oh, gray stain is in. Gray stain, we just do the gray stain on the floors. This house didn't have not one thing in it that would work with that. If he would have done that, because the whole main floor was hardwood floors, it would have been a huge
Yeah.
expense if he would have just ran with it. Instead, I went and got 4 different color stains, put them on a board, took them in the house, took pictures so he could see. Here's the railing. Here's what we've got, because you don't want to change the railing. This is it. This is the color. And thank God that he went with
Yeah.
it. Because when they make mistakes like that, then that puts a bad taste in their mouth. Because we're going in, or you're going in and with your level of confidence, you know, and then they've got a contractor telling them something else, and it's not.
And also, I have seen houses that now they use on the floor gray.
A lot of gray.
Mm.
But that
Because it's
trend is
cheap,
gone.
right?
Just so you know, that trend is
It's cheap
gone.
material? Is it
No
cheap
necesarily.
color?
Mm-mm.
No.
Dice que porque es más barato, pero no necesariamente.
Yeah, it's not that they use that material because it's cheaper.
Yeah, you know, it's like gray. It's not wood. It's just like gray.
Is it a
Is it a
laminate?
vinyl o laminate?
Laminate?
Es como si fuera como
Vinil.
Look like wood, but it's not.
yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
that.
I
They
think
have, they
Or
have a
plank.
laminate, which is your lower, then you have your huh. What's the next one?
What level?
Laminate?
Or
Yeah, it's like a
like a pergo floor?
yeah.
Oh, like
And then-
what wallpaper floor? Like the paper
no,
that's
no.
It's kind of like a
That's
Ah.
like
veneer.
the paper that floor that when
Vinyl?
No, there's one in between. I can't.
Like
You
what
have
vinyl.
your laminate, you have your hardwoods, you have your
luxury vinyl.
luxury vinyl, but there's one in between. I'll
Okay.
think of it.
LVP, ¿cómo le dicen?
LVP.
That's
Okay.
luxury vinyl.
That's luxury
Or
vinyl.
like pergo.
Okay.
Yeah, like a pergola, pergo,
Pergo. Mhm.
pergo. The gray, it was a trend for a good while. It is not the trend anymore. It's more of
Mhm.
your natural floors.
Yeah.
But again, a trend doesn't fit with every house.
Right.
Mhm.
So that's knowing the style of the house, knowing the neighborhood, knowing what it can look like. and
Also,
can't.
I have another question.
Mhm.
It's because of my dad. He bought a house, right? And he's doing the remodel, and he puts that gray floor.
Mm.
And you know, I told him because that house came with one room extra, but you have to go out and
Oh.
open the door, but there's no windows. But then when I went to see the house, because when he bought it like I helped him to buy it. But I never went to the house because it was it didn't have walls, it didn't have nothing. So I didn't really went, and he just started to do it. But I didn't really know much about it, so I just let him, do it. But when he started putting the walls, I told him why you didn't open the wall so people could go inside to that room. And he said he didn't know why he didn't do it. Maybe he should have,
Consulted with somebody like Deborah. Yeah.
yeah.
Or
But he
Deborah.
left that
Before,
wall,
before.
Yeah. So you
and
don't
it's
have to
taking
tell.
space.
Look,
And I was
just,
like, oh my God.
Look, just talk to your dad. Say, look, before you do anything, just let's
Yeah, at
talk
that
to
time I
Deborah.
was like,
Yeah.
different
Save
companies,
a
so I
lot
didn't
of
know.
money
Yeah.
and time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now that I am, here, I'm like, yeah, it's really good to have a designer because now that is taking so much space.
Yeah.
And, and when we bought that, I was looking at the pictures before, and that house used to have basement, and the basement was finished. But the person who bought it before my dad, she took all the walls off
Mhm.
and left it in ¿cómo se dice? Como los
Las
palos.
vigas, las vigas, the
Columnas.
studs.
Yeah,
Columnas.
without walls, anything. And on the basement used to have like rooms,
Drywall.
and she took everything. Everything was taken down.
It's like that
So no
movie. It's like that
division.
movie.
She said it's no
Yes,
division.
but-
No
but-
walls, nothing.
It's
Just
wide open.
Movie.
What's the
Just the
Just the columns.
columns,
Columnas.
No,
Columnas.
no.
Columns.
That when they he took
y arriba
Yeah.
también.
It's like, I'm taking
the
that.
staircase. Just kidding.
Ajá, pero ¿cuál es la palabra?
And
People
then, yeah,
think
and then
Yo
after
sé que
he
es
did
columna,
that,
pero no es
Yeah.
columna.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The size.
So like I'm taking this hardwood floor, I paid money for it.
Two
Ah, los
floors.
palos. Sí, pero
Things.
como vigas. No, vigas no,
Y ya
vigas.
son las atravesadas.
Columna, viga, pero
Okay, so let's get back on track. So let's talk about things that you feel like the seller needs to hear from you. What are things that you think a seller needs to hear you say to help him or her decide on selecting you? What you think you could say to convince a seller that, you know what, I'm the girl for the job?
The benefits.
Well, I think, show knowledge that you know what you're talking about, and provide like the plan, as I said before. Just you can tell that I would say that in my case, I would say I work with a team,
Mm-hmm.
where I have like a designer, we know inspectors, we know this, that, contractors, that if you need it, we can bring them. We have a special, prices only for our clients, where we're gonna lease. I don't know.
What's the benefit of having a team?
What's the benefits of having a team that
Yeah.
we have different people expertise in different specific things.
Okay.
So, it's not only about, my expertise, of the market,
Mm-hmm.
how marketing this, social
Mhm.
media, all that, talking to people, but I have zero idea about how to fix that wall with hearts. I don't have an idea how to update the kitchen, or I'm not an expert, so we
Mhm.
have expert that can help you.
That's
do
great.
that.
I'm going to mention something to you about working with a team, okay, that I think is important for you to say
Not to everybody.
for everybody, okay? But the fact that you're working with a team, as a seller, if you tell Deborah, who's a seller, Deborah, I work as part of a team, and I know that you're looking at me as the person to help you sell your house. But the fact that I work as a team, it's like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 other people, that it's not just me putting the word out there about your house. It's 9 other people doing the same thing amongst their sphere of influence. How does that make you feel as a homeowner?
With anything, if I hear somebody is part of a team or they have a group of professionals that they all collaborate,
Mm-hmm.
it makes me feel better knowing that there are different people to collectively that have their special role, like what you were saying, different professionals. So it makes me feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I would
More
think too.
people will know that the house is for sale.
Exactly. So what does that mean? That means my goal for you as a homeowner is to get the most number of people to know about your house for sale. Because the more people that know about your house for sale, the more people I can attract to your house, to come to the open house, to come and look at the house. And the more people that like your house, the more offers we will get. And the more offers that we get, the more competition there will be amongst these buyers. And what does that boil down to? More money for you. Because how do buyers compete amongst each other? How do they do that? How do buyers compete against each other?
Increase the price.
Increase the price, or ask for less from the seller.
Mm-hmm.
You say, no, I don't need help with closing costs. I don't need 10 days due diligence. If you could just give me 1, or you know what? I don't need any due diligence, 0 days.
you as a seller, okay? I'm not asking you to, for any inspection period. I'm giving you a stamped deal. Like, you know what? If I pull out of this here, I'm willing to lose $10,000. How does that make you feel?
Good.
Like, yeah, like that's what you want. The more,
But,
Uh-huh.
but I'll say this. It's the way you presented it. When you're talking about your team and you're talking about everything, I'm a seller right now. When you're talking about your team of professionals, be very confident in what you're saying. Know the benefits of everything that you have there, because me as a seller, I'm going to know that if I list with Soshana, that she's got a team. This is how it's going to work. She knows exactly who to go to for what and how to tell me to move to make sure that the transactions are smooth. And I think that's with anything that we do. I have to be confident when I go in and represent y'all. You know,
Right.
if I went in and I was like, oh, I don't know. Well, I have a team, but I don't know like the detail. Would you guys feel confident in me coming in?
no.
Right. So that's the same thing. The way Soshana presented it, she presented it as a matter of fact and very confident in what is the benefit of having me and having the team. And that's explaining how I felt. And that's what we want the clients to feel.
And we have to believe it. Like, I believe it. I believe that I have an awesome team.
Mhm.
I believe it. So when somebody asks me about it, it's easy for me to express that. So to me, that's really important. I lost my thought. So yeah. The other thing I wanted to say to Deborah, it's the top dollar. Gosh, I forgot what I was gonna tell you. Anyways, yeah. We just need to make sure that the seller understands the value that we're bringing to the table.
You need to move on.
Huh?
You're behind your schedule.
Okay, all right. So, work with the team. Okay.
Really, before we got in here, so make sure I stay on schedule.
Okay. All right. So,
I have one question.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because I wrote down my questions.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so how do you know? Because when you're listing a house, you go to public records
Mhm.
and you see the square footage of the house. But let's say they have added or they had take some square foot down. How do you know how to measure the house? Because I've seen a lot of houses that make additions, and
Okay.
that changes everything.
You can
On
have
the
somebody
house.
come in and professionally measure it.
But who? Like contractor?
You can have you could have a contractor. You could have like
Or how would you say, have you done any addition or
Yeah.
take anything up down?
Yeah. Have you made any additions to the house?
yeah, and the seller, the seller can go to the county because some of the sellers have not documented this at the county.
Mhm.
A lot of them haven't.
What will happen if they don't? They have
Well,
to
I
report
mean,
that or not?
the county
Is it
can, if
mandatory?
the county finds out, the
I think
county
it's
can,
mandatory.
Yeah, that's why I was like, kind of curious.
Yeah.
It's mandatory.
Some of them they have
Well, it's
made.
mandatory, but when you have, you working with this person, say, okay, I added these 2 rooms,
yeah, and if
but
this,
make the house bigger.
Because
It doesn't mean that they have to go to the
They-
county and
Yes,
register.
it's
Before,
supposed to.
they are supposed to, but I mean, it's up to that, oh, no, I cannot list your house because you haven't reported that.
you can list the house, you
Exactly,
just
yes,
have to
that was my-
disclose it, that's it.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when my dad he made that addition to
Mhm.
his house,
Mhm.
he did it without permit.
Permits, right?
But one of the neighborhoods was doing something at their house,
Mhm.
so the county didn't want to accept,
Mhm.
and they just told that one of the neighborhoods, which was ours,
Mhm.
us,
Mhm.
they were doing something, and they just accepted. So the inspector,
Mhm.
the Winnet inspector, came to our house and just tell all that contractor that stop doing what they're doing and just
Oh, yeah.
put something.
Yeah.
And then my dad had to go to
And to
he
the
was kinda
county.
scared because it was
Right.
like, what if they
Mhm.
make me take everything down?
Right.
But he just got a permit,
Yeah.
it was approved, and they started, you know, they
Yeah.
kept doing it. But on the
Because the
basement-
neighbors can tell on you.
Good neighbors.
So, but the basement, because the house has basement, right?
Mhm.
When my dad, because when we bought it, it wasn't finished.
Mhm.
So he did the basement, but he didn't ask for permission. And that
Right.
basement has kitchen
Mhm.
and 2 rooms.
Yeah. A lot of people don't do it, but you know,
And that's
There
true.
can-
They can make you take it down.
they can. Mhm.
They can.
They can.
It's possible. Yeah. You know,
Mhm.
especially if you've done electric, you've run electric and
Yeah.
plumbing and all.
It can be dangerous.
So how do you? How do
You're not
That's
a
not your
magician. You're not a magician. You just need to disclose what you know.
Okay, so
Okay.
how will you ask them? How will you
Don't
ask the
ask.
seller?
Don't ask what you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's asking like, how would you ask them when you go for a permit
No.
to get the
How do
permit?
you because of course they're gonna be like, okay, my house is now big. I think it's worth more.
Ask them,
No.
ask them if they got permits for the construction.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, "Oh no, I didn't."
Then how do you say in a proper or professional way that? Because
See,
let's
see.
say I'm selling my house and I'm like, Sasha, and I think my house worth more because
Mhm.
now it's bigger, but I don't know how
Right.
many square foot. I
Right.
don't know anything about
Right.
that because
See,
Um,
there's a process that you're supposed to follow. Did you go ahead and get the permits at the county?
no.
Okay, so
Yeah, but the house has a finished basement now. for
yeah,
example.
it has a finished basement. You know, we can ask for what you want. However, you just need to be prepared. The next
appraiser, you know,
buyer,
it may affect
the
how
next
appraiser
buyer
does it.
may ask if you have the permits, and they may ask you to see about getting the permits if they're going to move forward.
Some
So,
people may not
are
care.
you prepared for that?
Other people may.
Okay.
Some people may not care if you got permits or not. They just say, "Oh, this looks good." There are other people that like they don't. They like okay. They may think, "Okay, you didn't get permits. Then how do I know that what you did was correct? You know, that the wiring is correct or the
Mm-hmm. Right.
plumbing is
Why
correct."
inspectors?
It just depends on the person.
Right.
On the who's
Well,
making
the
offer.
county wants to make sure that things are to code.
Yeah,
Okay.
so your house
To
is burned down.
avoid, so to make sure that they're safe, these houses are safe. You know, any bozo could say, you know what, I'm gonna make a second floor on my house and does not know what he's doing. And I'm like, why am I gonna get a permit? And then next thing you know, he puts stairs and somebody falls through because he don't know what he's doing. That's the reason why they have, you know, you go and you get your permit so that you get authorization to do the things that you want to do, and an inspector comes in and checks.
Okay, my question is like, because I guess we walk into houses like that all the time, that
Oh,
they
right.
added something, they modified the whole basement. I mean, it's something we as a listing agent ask for. Okay, this is a nice basement, perfect, has a kitchen, a bathroom. Do you have a permit for that? Do you do it yourself? So you say,
I
you
don't
don't
go
ask
into-
what you don't, I mean, you just list and you disclose it's gonna be.
Right.
The house now
Yeah,
has
let,
a-
let the other
like
people
a
ask
pool.
for it, right?
Exactly, like in your list is now like brand new finished basement. It's a part of your description.
I don't do all like new things that I mentioned, new appliances, new hot water heater, new stove,
Okay, but
finished basement.
finished basement, but that's it. I mean, I'm not, as a listing agent, is
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying. I'm not gonna, oh, I did it myself. Like one house, I mean, it was horrible house. I made all the model, I did it myself with my own house. Oh,
You're like, I can
congratulations.
tell.
I can tell. But I mean, I didn't ask, okay, you did it? I mean, it was how you have
Yeah.
a permit from the.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. Okay.
You don't ask that.
We are going in for the listing. Okay. We want to find as nice houses as we can. Okay. And we have Deborah to help us to help them to make the house look as nice as possible. You know, that's really what we're there for.
I have a
Okay.
question for that.
Okay.
So what do you do if a client added a bedroom to their house, but they didn't get a permit? And so the county records show it's a 3-bedroom,
But it's 4 now.
2.5.
You know what?
But it's a
Bonus room.
4-bedroom now.
So we put in the 4-bedroom, and whenever you look at the county tax record, it shows 3 bedrooms on the county side, right next to each other, says county, or they says like the county stuff, 3 bedrooms, MLS 4. That's all I do,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
And then this is a buyer beware state. So the buyer has that responsibility
Exactly.
to ask. It's like if it's important to you as a buyer to know if they have a permit, then if you're representing a buyer, you're like, you know what, let's ask them if they have if they got the permit. And is that important to you to have the permit? Yes. Okay. And seller, please provide us the permit. And the seller's like, oh, I don't have the permit.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know, but,
Have you ever-
but the other person is very important. I mean, they wanna walk away.
I know, but have
They
you?
may.
Find another house.
They may, and then you
Yeah.
find another buyer.
And the seller will be like,
I know,
whatever,
but have
it
you ever,
might have
have you ever
someone else.
lost an
that
offer
they
because
don't
somebody,
get.
there was a discrepancy? 'Cause I don't,
If they want to, because that's gonna cost money, maybe, and usually they don't
I know,
want to
but
spend more
to my
money.
knowledge, I don't know that we've ever lost an offer because
Right. Right.
there was they made an extra bedroom and it's not listed with the county.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like everybody knows what's going on, but I don't know that we've ever lost an offer because of that. People ask, "Oh, did you get permit?" No, and then you tell them, and then most of the time they don't. Nobody cares. I mean, some people may
Okay.
care,
All right.
but
Let's get started.
Time is ticking. Okay. I know y'all have questions. The questions really were supposed to be towards the end of the class, but
Okay.
Yeah.
it's important for you guys to know what you need to say to sellers. Okay. What things to talk about to sellers. You need to talk about the value that you're bringing to the table. They want to know that your priority is to get them top dollar. And how do you get them top dollar? By using your resources, by working as a team with the agents that are surrounding you. That you know what, it's not just me sharing the information, it's 9 or 10 other of us that's going to put it out in our circles, and it's going to attract more people to your house. We attract more people to your house. It's going to equal more dollars, potentially going to equal more dollars for you. Okay. You want to let them know. I let my sellers know that this is my personality. And you probably believe it. Okay. And it's true. I don't sleep until that house is under contract. What does that tell a seller?
So you're gonna work diligently until you sell the house.
That's my priority. My priority is to get your freaking house sold for top dollar. That's what a seller wants to hear. If he's interviewing 5 people, that is what a seller wants to hear. They want to hear that you are going to go above and beyond to get them top dollar. That's what they want to hear. Okay. And you have to be clear and you have to be direct with the seller and let them know not just what you're bringing to the table, but what you need from them. Okay. In order to get you top dollar, you have to explain to them. Okay. The neighboring houses are similar to yours. Okay. Let's say it's a townhouse. The 2 townhouses are equal. Okay. Except that the neighbor's house that just sold for top dollar, they did update the flooring. They did put in fresh paint. They did put in really nice stainless steel appliances. Just because your house has the same layout does not equal the one next door. What is it that you're willing to do? And show them. I have taken my sellers out to go see the competition. I'm like, hey, let's go see the competition. Oh, no, I don't want to. I need you to go see the competition with me because you need to understand what you're up against.
you can explain all you want, but there's no substitute for someone to see it with their own eyes.
And sellers will believe their house is the most beautiful one. Okay. Oh, my house is not. It's like, you have all kinds of sellers.
It's like the loving or listing,
Yes.
while she remodel and help, he is, or vice versa, I don't know,
Yeah.
showing the competition.
Right.
Right.
We actually had that in her neighborhood. 2 houses exactly the same. One person had invested in updating things and the other couple did not. And they couldn't figure out why the one house could get more money than theirs.
Yeah.
And it was exactly
Yeah.
that.
So it's really talking Like you really, like just speak on what you know.
So I
Be
have one
confident.
question. Okay, when you say let's go to see the house, let's go to see the competition.
Yeah.
The competition is in your CMA, the active listings, right?
Yeah. The active listings.
Okay.
The active listings. Yeah. So I'll schedule it and we'll go see it. You know, there's an order that I do certain things. Okay. But we'll go over the order. I just wanted to like cover some of the important things that we need to make sure we discuss, you know, in the process. Okay, let's talk about this. What are signs? How can you, what signs, what are the signs that someone might be thinking of selling?
You see them painting the house or asking a lot of questions about real estate. You see a contractor inside and, you know, there's a lot of movement in the house. Yeah, like that.
Jessica?
When they ask how much the house worth.
Exactly. Señales que
When they change roof, maybe.
when they change the roof.
Um,
Anything?
Landscaping, maybe.
Landscaping.
landscaping.
Yes.
the landscape.
Like the house has been a
Like
hot mess.
design landscaping.
Yeah.
The house
Yeah,
has been a
like a
hot
really
mess
thing
for
all the time.
years. For years, the house, they're like, we don't care what it looks like. It looks a hot mess. And suddenly they decided to hire the landscaper. These people might be thinking of
Our
selling.
neighbor in the front across the street, he changed roof, paint on house outside, made landscaping, and I asked him, "Are you thinking of selling your house?" He said, "No, I'm just out there." Okay.
That's rare. Okay.
That's
and
rare.
whenever we were working on our
On
house,
the outside of our house. Yeah.
Yes,
People
because
have to-
people,
It's clear when somebody are preparing the property to sell.
right.
Maybe not
I don't-
yet,
Doesn't
not
hurt to
yet,
ask.
not yet.
Right.
Yeah,
It
it doesn't
doesn't
ask.
hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask.
We can ask questions or not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Is it about this? Is it about this?
No,
Okay.
that's something else.
Okay.
Well, it's about listing, but it's
Okay.
about something that is going on my head.
Okay. Go ahead and tell me. Go ahead.
Okay, because I would like to know how do we fill out the seller disclosure, or how can we just or if we have to give it to them.
Okay,
You know,
so
like-
most of my clients are Spanish speakers. Okay, if they're English speakers, I really like, hey, you know, I need you to fill this out. If I'm in front of them, because really sometimes you're just waiting for them to fill out the seller's disclosure form
For days.
for days. So I'm like at that. I go through the things, you know, of everything we have to go through, get the listing sheet or whatever. I'm like, okay, we have the seller's disclosure. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Okay, and I read it. And I read it fast. Yes, no, whatever. If yes, I put the explanation. Okay, so what happened? And I write it down. Okay, I have them sign it. I take it back and I let them know. I'm gonna put it on the computer and I'm gonna send it to you so you can sign it online. Okay? Get it done. Just get it done.
Okay.
Okay. If it's a Spanish speaker, get really good at translating. Okay. And just do that. Okay. Or you can try to translate it, but it's going to change.
Because, you know, well, I haven't done any listing, so
Yeah.
I don't know how to build that out. You know,
Yeah. Well, if they don't know something,
well, I don't know either.
Yeah,
and
so
they
I learned this from
it's
Jules.
something- That's it from them, right? You just, as Shoshana said, you read the question, they answer yes or no. It's not something that you have to know. It's the
Right.
say yes. Okay, what happened? It was, I changed the unit. Okay, changed the
Yeah.
unit. AC unit was
Just-
changed.
yeah.
That's it. You don't
And
have to know.
if you don't know, let's say the seller does not know. Okay. I learned this from Jules. Said, ask the question. I don't know. But no. An explanation, not to my knowledge.
Mhm.
Is it that you're not comfortable or confident in the form, that you know what the form entails?
It's not that. It's just that. Well, I feel like sometimes there's some questions about is the movement on the house. There are
Uh-huh.
some movements.
Yeah. So you ask the seller, do you know if there's been any settlement of the house? And they'll say yes or no.
Okay.
Yes, explain. No?
And if they say I don't know,
Say,
that's
Say,
not
no,
my
not to my knowledge.
It's gonna be a no in that case. So
Right.
no,
Yeah.
and then
Not to my knowledge.
You know what I would do if I were you to get confident with the questions? So you could, like how they are, go through the form and just go through the form and read it and pretend like you are the listing customer client and fill it out and get really familiar with it.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's going to change your confidence level.
And you know what? You can, things that you're not comfortable with, that you highlighted, and call Mr. Ugo, the inspector.
Okay.
Okay. And let him know, say, hey, look, Mr. Ugo, because you don't want to waste people's time. You want to let him know, say, hey, Ugo, Mr. Ugo, I work with Beautiful Georgia Homes, and I wanted to I have like 3 questions that are on the seller's disclosure that I'm not sure what it means. Can you help me understand these things? And then you understand. Okay. Like something that I'm not sure about is what is it? Aluminum wiring? I don't know. I always ask, there's some clients that know about that and they're like, oh yes, there is aluminum wiring, whatever. Okay. But you can ask Mr. Ugo, why is this important? We have those resources. Okay. And he's very helpful with that. Okay. Have clear what your value is to the seller, because you need to, like, you're going to have to express that. And you have to do this as concise as possible. Because if you spend too much time talking to the seller, it's going to be a long listing appointment.
Yeah, they're already long enough. It takes a while. A listing appointment takes
Okay.
a while.
So most of the time, whenever I'm having a conversation with a potential seller, I do a lot of that talking on the phone. Okay. On that phone call, I am asking, they tell me, hey, Shoshana, I'm thinking about selling my house. Oh, okay, Daniela. All right. So when is it that you're thinking about selling your house?
In a month.
In about a month. Okay. All right. And what's your plan? What's your plan? You sell the house and what you're going to do?
Another one.
You want to buy another house. Okay. Have you, are you pre-approved for the next loan, or do you feel like you need to talk to one of our preferred lenders?
I'm pre-approved for the other one.
You're
And then I
pre-approved?
need my equity. of
Oh,
the
you
house.
need the money from the sale of this house to put towards the next one. Okay. So you know what we're going to do? First of all, I need to prepare a market analysis for you. Okay. And the market analysis, I'm going to basically put your house in the center of a map. Okay. And I'm going to draw out like a mile away. And we're going to check and see what is sold in the last 6 months within that mile. Okay.
Right.
So that you have an idea about how much it would be, is the ideal price to put the house for sale. Okay. So give me like maybe 3 days, up to 3 days, so that I can pull that information, create a report for you, and be able to discuss that with you. So we want that. I'm gonna need to know, how much do you owe on that?
How much one?
Do you owe? What's the balance on your loan?
270.
Okay, 200 and something. If the seller doesn't know, you say, you know what, you can find that on your mortgage statement. Okay.
They don't.
Yeah, but it's on the mortgage statement.
right.
Mhm. You can find what the balance is on the mortgage statement. And do you remember what your interest rate is?
325.
Okay. All right. So what you do is you write those numbers down. How much is the balance? How much is the interest rate? Okay. Because you're going to need that for your net to seller sheet. Okay. All right. Daniela, can you tell me a little bit about the updates you've done to the house?
One bathroom.
Uh-huh.
Addition.
Uh-huh. What did you do? You added a bathroom?
Yes.
You added a bathroom. Okay. writing that down.
Change the floor, paint
Okay.
the house.
Okay. What color did you paint?
Like a beige or
A
like
beige?
white
I've
off.
seen red houses.
White
Off,
have
off
three.
white?
Off-white.
Off white. Okay.
I have
See, as soon as she tells me that, I'm like, okay. I write
Shame.
Deborah's name, Deborah. Okay, Debs. Okay.
Or check. Like,
Or urgent. Okay. Stat. Okay. Okay. So this is what I'm getting on the phone. I want to get as much information as possible on the phone so that I can do that market analysis as fast as possible, have the information I need to do the net to seller. Okay. And then,
Could you send me some pictures or something?
yeah, and I asked them for the pictures. I asked her, can you send me pictures?
Mhm.
Everything you can send me. If you can send me pictures, what's really important is the kitchen, the bathrooms. Okay. It'd be nice to see the outside and the back, the front and the back of the house. You know, and when you take the pictures, please, you know, take them as far back as possible so that I can see the details, so that whenever I send them to Deborah, and I tell them, I said, let me tell you this. You know, Daniela has just told me that her house, oh my God, I can't take pictures. I'll send it to you next week. No. I need these pictures as soon as possible. Don't worry that it's a mess. It doesn't matter. I'm not looking at that. I'm not going to use the photos to share online. Those are not the photos we're going to use. Okay. I just need to know what materials, what the condition is of the house, so that I could be able to compare those photos to the comps that I'm going to be using, so that whenever we meet, you can understand why, you know, our opinion is that you could price it between this and this amount. Okay. So that's what I'm doing on the phone. Okay. And I'm also assessing whether with those photos, whether with Deborah, if what's going to be needed. Okay. And I talked to them about the Deborah situation, like how she's, you know, there to help us. And then I start like getting myself ready for the appointment. At the appointment, what am I taking with me? CMA, net to seller, listing sheet, the brokerage agreement. Okay. If there's a community association, a HOA, a community association disclosure, the seller's property disclosure. If the house is older than 78, the lead-based paint. Okay. I'm also taking a printout of the property records, of the public records. I don't know why I never remember that. The public records. Okay. Because who told me? Somebody told me, was that you, Jessica, that somebody told them? No, it was you. Like the seller said they bought the house for more than how much they bought it for.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You need to arrive to that seller's house, letting them know
That you know.
that you know what's up. You know?
What happened there?
Okay. So Daniela was talking to a seller. Okay. And the seller said, oh yeah, I bought this house for 300,000. Okay. When they really bought it for 2, but they're only saying
Oh,
300,000 because they want to sell it for more.
And that's why you have public record.
Yeah. Okay. And be like, okay, you bought the house for 200,000, right? Huh? No, I bought it for 3. This drink says this. Okay. So there may be something, there may be a discrepancy. At least let them see that you know what's up. Okay. So that, because you have to have that level of trust. They need to be able to trust that you are looking out for their best interest.
I had one, it wasn't my client because, you know, I went to the listing presentation, but I went with somebody because, like I said, I need a little help. So I was like, you know, tell the person that come with me and then I can see how you do it, right?
Mhm.
So, but I looked for the client. So she wanted to sell because I think she couldn't pay her mortgage anymore.
Okay.
So she wanted to downsize.
Okay.
And she told us that because it was COVID. Well, it wasn't COVID.
Okay.
It was under 2020.
Mhm.
But you know, when people was offering more than
Yes. Yeah. It was.
it was a lot of
Yeah.
competition.
It was. It was COVID
Yeah.
time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. So the house was at 400.
Yeah.
Or 420, something like that.
Uh-huh.
But she offered 476.
Yeah. Okay.
And her order was 460, well, 450, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But she really wanted the house at that time, so she offered 476.
Mm-hmm.
And she put, I think, 30,000 over.
Okay.
Yeah, 30 or 40, something like that. I can't even remember. But she wanted to sell it for 520. But the CMA didn't match because
She paid more for the house.
Yeah.
because she
if
wanted
she
to.
wouldn't sell it at this time, which was last year, she would have to sell it for 476 because that
Mhm.
was for the CMA what it was paying, that 476 or maybe 500, but she wanted 520 or 530, something like that.
Yeah.
Because
If
she
the
said,
neighboring houses were able to sell for that amount, like
no,
to
it was
help
not.
substantiate, but if one house sells for high and the other ones don't bring up theirs, then they're gonna have a
What
problem.
do you tell a buyer that is willing to do something like that? I mean, they're listing the house for 420, but my buyer is willing to pay 465 for the
Right.
house, like 40,000
Okay.
more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you just let them do that.
Well, you talk to your client and let them know what the comps are and say, look, what's normal in the area is this. It's up to you how much you want to pay for it, right?
Okay.
And if they're going to want in the future to sell the house, it may take some time to catch up.
Exactly.
So they need to understand that. But if they want to do that just to win it because that house, I don't know, they may know that there's a pot of gold in the backyard. I don't know.
I didn't help her to buy the house because at that time I didn't meet her.
Mhm.
So it was another agent.
Yeah.
And when it was about to sell, she called me and she wanted more. But she started saying that she made this remodel and all that, and she wanted like 520. And I was
Gotcha.
like,
We have 10 more minutes before it's 2:00. I want to spend a little bit of time. I know that we want to do, I know there's questions and stuff, but the questions that if y'all have questions, put it into our group, okay? Into our Telegram group, okay? I want to take a little bit of time to do a bit of role playing, okay? Because what needs to happen is that y'all need to feel comfortable talking to somebody that may be potentially thinking about selling. Okay, so let's see here. We'll use, we'll start with, you're going to be the agent, listing agent.
okay.
Okay. And Daniela, you are the seller, not the seller. You're just a person. Okay. Y'all are at a party. Okay. And y'all are just meeting each other. All right. And Jessica, you have no idea. You have no idea, if she's a owner, if she's a buyer, here we are at a party. We're sitting at a round table, okay? And she's sitting right next to you. How do you start a conversation with her about, and how do you get her into talking about real estate? Just go ahead and start, like,
I'll be like, hi, Daniela.
you don't know her.
Oh, no,
And
I
you
don't
have to introduce yourself, okay? Because you don't know Daniela. You're just meeting her at this party.
I'll be like, oh, hi. Do you want something to drink or something? And I'll begin now.
Say your outfit is so cute. I just had to tell you.
Yeah. Oh my God. I thought you look so
I saw you from across
nice.
the room. I know this is weird. Me and another woman coming up to you. I just want to let you know.
I love that dress.
I love that outfit.
Yeah.
I bet you have a lot of. I bet you have a lot of
Well, I
clothes.
like your shoes or whatever.
I bet you have so many clothes that you need to walk in closet.
Whatever.
And then you go, you go from, I love your outfit. I bet you have lots of clothes. You know what? Someone like you who has a lot of clothes probably has a walk-in closet. You know what? I'm a real estate agent. You know what? There's aren't enough houses with big walk-in closets.
Okay.
And then she goes, "Oh, you're a real estate agent. You got to make the bridge."
Right.
Okay.
That's your goal is to find a way to get into talking about real estate. Okay. So okay, we're at a party. Okay. You and
I
me.
just gonna say what happened the other day. I went to a birthday party.
Okay.
It was at a restaurant.
All right.
So I was surrounded with people that I didn't know. I just knew the birthday.
I'm that
girl
person.
and the husband.
Talk to
And, but no, but I don't know how to role play this because I mean we
Okay.
just hey, how are you?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Susanna's friend. Oh, you too? Yeah, I'm not Susanna. No, Susanna. It was
Whatever.
Susanna, but
Yeah.
crying. Oh, good, good. And it was Susanna. This person was Susanna. And she said, "Oh yeah, how do you guys
Know each other.
No.
met? Oh, because she's my therapist. And, oh, okay, good. Da, 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 da. Yes, I went there because this person. This is a real story. I wanted to kill her because she talked to me the whole time, but I let her talk about whatever she wanted to say to me. And then I said, "And what do you do for a living?" I said, "Oh, she was a interior decorator." "Oh yeah." "Oh," I said, "Okay. Oh, I work with interior decorator. Would you like it?" Because I'm a real estate agent. "Oh, you're a real estate agent? Oh yeah." "That's because I work with other agent." "Oh yeah," because and we start talking about that, and we exchange information.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay.
Just to sometimes just let them talk about whatever they want to talk. And
Yeah.
just informal sometimes.
Here's what. This is my go-to. Like, hi, I'm Soshana. What's your name?
Hi, Soshana. I'm Deborah.
Oh, good to meet you. So how do you know Laura?
I actually just met Lauda through the
Through me?
person who's having.
No, we are friends and it's my birthday.
Oh,
So,
Okay.
she's my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I've known her a long time.
Okay,
We
she's
met in
so
Spain
nice.
last year.
We
She,
grew
oh
up-
yeah. Oh man, how much I wish I could go to Spain. I was wanting to go and visit her there. Anyways, you live around here?
I do. I live in Lawrenceville,
Oh, you live in Lawrence. What part of Lawrenceville you live in?
over by Sugarloaf.
Oh, by Sugarloaf. Okay. I sold a house that way over there not that
It's
long ago.
beautiful there.
Yes, it's beautiful there. Okay. But usually that's how I get into it's not, I mean, I'm on the spot right now, but usually it's about asking if they live in the area, and then just talking about it. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my God, the traffic is so terrible now. At least where I live, it's over here by the Mall of Georgia. It's crazy, but I'm not even thinking about making a move, whatever. And just talk about it, and you bring them into your conversation. You bring them in.
Because it's a personal, not business.
So
Exactly.
you can say the traffic is terrible there. So maybe you can move to the mountains.
But what I'm telling y'all is
Right.
don't sell. Do not bring don't sell it.
In the beginning, don't talk about real estate.
Don't try to sell. Oh, I can help you or whatever. You bring them value, okay? You say something that only bring something up that you heard in the Wiseman videos.
What is if it's not a birthday party? What if it's not in okay, I got all these people around me. It's just a very short interaction, and but you won't make sure that they have your business card, or you just say something. It's not. We don't have all the time
In the
to
elevator.
talk about or what. Yeah,
The elevator.
Oh,
short.
okay. The short.
1 minute.
Okay. Short. Where's my card? Who has a card? Give me here. Okay. Do you mind if I give you one of my cards? I'm a real estate
No.
agent.
I don't mind.
Here you go.
Yeah.
If you have any questions on anything, okay, feel free to give me a call. Okay. Or if you know somebody that needs my help, if you don't mind sharing that, that'd be great.
Well, that was me the other day. I have a class with the school and we didn't have time for that. It was the class. But at the end, I was like, please help me to increase my income because, you know, when I come in school doesn't pay much. So I'm on restoration. So they were all laughing and I was like,
Yes, yes,
yes,
yes. Yes,
so,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, you do that. You know what? That's cute.
Yeah.
And people appreciate
just-
that.
Yeah, because it's like,
yeah,
yeah.
It's true.
It's a personal. It's true and funny and
Yeah, you know,
Informal, but
and
Yeah.
being honest, like that's you're really being honest. It's like, hey, you know, I need the help, and people appreciate that.
When I
People
was in high
appreciate
school,
that.
all of my high school teachers had other jobs during the summer. Like I would see them places, or they were building decks. Like, wait a minute, you build decks?
I thought you were a teacher.
yeah. No, I'm not. And then that day actually happened that I don't know. That was the super hard storm the other day. It was
Uh-huh.
on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
At the time we were leaving, I didn't have my car with me. I was coming to take me out.
Oh.
So I was just waiting there. Like it was raining so bad, and,
Right.
you know, I just have to wait. And it was another lady from the inside. I said, no, I'm you know, someone is
Right.
She opened the door and said, no, please come inside because it's raining so hard. Actually, it was with safe. And then we started talking. She was a Hispanic person. And again, same. So what do you do with school world? And I said, where do you live? I live in Lawrenceville. Oh, okay. I live now. And then we were talking about that. This is like 15 minutes. And then I said, in that case, I also do real estate. In the afternoon and you know, weekend. Oh, you do real estate. And then again, I
You connect with them.
yeah, I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
That, you know, with everybody, I'm trying to connect. with
Yeah.
social media.
I think that would be good. You could also use us as an excuse. Say, you know what, I'm on a
That's
project.
my business card. I got back.
Okay. All right. It's important. Okay. One last thing I want to say about that.
You send a half hour now.
An excuse, like I'm working on a project and my assignment is that I'm supposed to like let more people know about what I do. To bring it honest,
I would
that's-
say let her go on.
okay? We can do that. All right.
Suggest.
I am gonna sign those of you who want to be to
You have lunch?
work on the listing challenge. Are y'all interested in doing a listing challenge?
Well, you know what you can do if you want to work me like
Listing challenge to challenge you to get listings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Gina, can you hear us?
Do a thumbs up.
Do it. Yes. Okay. Gina, would you be interested in participating in a listing challenge? Yes. Okay. Jai, would you be interested in participating in a listing challenge? I can't hear you, so I need your camera to be turned on. Or maybe you put a thumbs up. Can't hear you. You have to do a thumbs up or something, or turn on your camera. Okay, I can't hear you. Okay, so Gina's a yes. Jessica, yes. Laura, yes. You, yes. Okay. I forgot your name.
Really?
You too?
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
Okay. So I'm gonna send you guys, you'll get a text message that gives you access so that you will get information as to the listing challenge. That, and then Deborah, I know we're at the top of the hour, I think. Here you can look at a little bit of some of the work that Deborah has done. You want to kind of talk a little bit about it? I tried to kind of put some before and afters.
So these are some of the things. We have a house before, it's one in Stone Mountain. It's one of the older contemporary. So we painted it black. I love it. With the bright red door. I let him know how to paint it. Took in account the neighborhood. It's an up and coming area. And so there's a lot of revitalization going on, a lot of younger people. So we wanted to do something that was really going to attract to them. We did it on the inside too, with a lot of lighting, adding shelves, adding some really cool contemporary charm to it. So that's part of it. Here, these are some of the bathrooms. So I add on the color board, like here's an idea for the vanity, faucets, lighting, everything that they need to make that bathroom. And
So-
then on the list
So,
of things,
I'm sorry, just, you also give them, couple of options, not like just paint this color or paint this other color,
well,
suggestions.
let me, I put together the color board of this is my suggestion. I don't do multiples.
Okay.
A reason being is this takes me a lot of time. And because of the 225 rate, that is so low that I try to give them as much as I can in one presentation. And then the list of priorities. So I usually give one per room, because to do like this house, it had 3 bathrooms, all these bedrooms, and a lot of architectural things to change. I literally put probably 8 hours into this, searching the product, putting together the look and the colors. So in answer to your question,
Okay.
I do one, but they can do a variation of that, you know, if they want to, or if they say, oh, I like that color, but can I go with this? If they want to text me, and yeah, you know, or sometimes no. Okay. So you would get color boards like this. So it shows, you know, depending on what we're working on. And then like here, there was an architectural feature that I wanted to change to add. So I showed them examples of what we could do. And I typically write in there, you know, what it is, what room it is, so they can keep track of it. This is another, more bathrooms in different areas. And then this is a visual for them to know what the exterior could look like and the paint levels. That's what we present. And then again, a list.
And sometimes she even like draws things so that they have a clue of what visually, what she has in mind for the space. Yeah, I was trying to find that, but it was so late, so.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Mhm.
There's so many of them.
So, yeah. Anyways, there, you know, as you can tell, this is not, we just touched the surface, okay? And everybody has questions and everything, you know, so it's important for you to be taking notes. Whenever we have our meetings, on our Thursday meetings, make sure to mention some of the questions that you have. If y'all are wanting to continue and have another session, I'd be open to doing that. We just need to figure out what day you want to do it. If you want to do it like after our commercial class, like we did this time, we can do that. But put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Let as many people know as possible that, you know what, you're there to help. Don't ask to do a market analysis for them. Tell them, you know what you need? You need a market analysis. I'm gonna prepare that for you. Okay. I'll have it ready for you in a few days because you need to know about how much your value is. Okay. Just some suggestions. Okay. So, all right. I guess that's it for today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
And
so much.
let me know for sure if y'all want to do this again.
Thank you very much, and sorry for my uncivilized.
I saw you. I almost took a picture. I almost took a picture.
I would say
Okay.
that is a very interesting class.
Mhm.
The only thing that I don't like is after the commercial class. I
Yeah.
think I already told you that. I will-
Yeah.
For me, it will be beneficial for everybody if
Mhm.
it's just this class.
Yeah.
Like, because you can prepare for
Yeah.
the class with question or like, you know, question,
Yeah.
whatever, a quiz,
Yeah.
whatever thing.
I
and then
really,
you are-
I really wanted to do something that was like a longer class. I feel like this was kind of rushed you know,
Yeah.
because
But
it
it
was
was
trying
for
to.
us already. I mean,
Yeah.
he will be sleeping the
Right.
next hour.
But
I mean, it's too much.
did you feel like you got something out of it?
Yes, I mean, but as you say,
Let me
it's
turn it
just short. I mean, maybe.
Okay.
can we discuss
You want me to turn it off or no?
Yeah. Okay. Gina, thank you for joining us. Julie, muchas gracias. Eric, disconnect the microphone so that they can say something. The microphone's on the other side.
Now.
Buenas tardes y muchas gracias. Saludos.
Gracias.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Está mal.